Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Zwei, Null, the Team Leviathan Gaming Podcast, episode 9. Zwei, Null, episode 9. Ha 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 ha. Had to make the joke. My name is Jaggerous, and I'm joined, as always, by Spyro. How's it going, Spyro?
Yeah, today, I'm sure you guys have seen it many times. We've got Specimen, and we also have Trynet joining us today to talk about some of the recent, events within Gwent that have been happening recently. So yeah, let's get into it, I guess.
So where do you guys want to start? You want to talk past or future? Where are we going?
I mean, I guess we can start from the past and go towards the future, right? That just makes chronological order sense.
Okay, so I guess the first thing we need to talk to from the past in the Specimen is on the episode, but also you two, because I believe you guys were doing a group watch party kind of thing for the Open, right?
Yeah, I was doing a watch party with Bushy, and I believe Tailbot joined in, Ellis and some others hopped in and out. But yeah, we Open obviously just happening just the last week. Was it last weekend? Was last weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last weekend. And we had some exciting games. We had Iluha getting that first win in official event, was quite nice to see. I believe this was his second or was it third appearance at the Open, and finally managed to get that win.
I don't know any Iluhas.
There's no Luha. I only know
Right.
Honestly, I'm actually
35. You got to remember the 35.
For a whole hour saying Big Kukuruzina, I'm not happy about it, to be honest. It's not. I actually watched it back yesterday and I was just like, oh my goodness. Awful stuff.
It's a tough one because, what do you do? Because when you're casting that sort of event, some people know who Aluha is, but not everyone will. So then, if you've just tuned in, you have no idea about Gwent, and they're talking about Aluha while you're watching Big Kukuruzina. It's a difficult one for a caster. What you do. I would just go with whatever name they've picked. I'm like, if you want to be called this, then fine.
Exactly. They dug their grave.
That's the thing. And it's was it just headbutt play?
He's not Gravesh anymore.
No,
yeah,
and during
the Gravesh on a cast.
Yeah, during the alternative cast, I think we pointed out we were casting or someone was casting, and they pointed out that they capitalized head and butt, so the B in headbutt was capitalized, so it said just head butt play. And someone on the Invitational,
It was Quill, wasn't it? Quill,
yeah, he mentioned it.
Talking about it.
And within 5 minutes, we saw it get changed, and we're like, "Are they watching us? Wait, what's going on here?" But yeah, freaking butt play. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah, I mean, I must say it's sometimes quite annoying pronouncing or saying these names when you're casting. For Dark Kevin is another kind of annoying one to say.
He's changed it now. Finally, he's got rid of it, hasn't he?
What's he now?
He's not TLG Spyro or something like that.
Oh, that's boring. I was a Dark Kevin fan. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But yeah, Open. We had I believe it was second Open, and I don't know, did anything for you guys, was there anything that stood out from you about the event, or was it just kind of another regular Open?
There was a new caster.
Yep. I wonder who the new caster was. I wonder who was the new caster, Jaggerous, I forgot.
Just some geezer. He was alright.
Yeah, it was weird, honestly. I've watched so many tournaments, right? So to actually sort of be involved in it. I think I'm also quite lucky that I had the Masters, where I was sort of the other side of it with prepping with Freddy, just to see all the sort of hard work that goes in, especially Freddy's just the man when it comes to tournaments, right? He's got a very definite way of approaching it. I was with Pyre Green Knight, I was how am I here? So to sort of go from that to then actually do the commentating side of things, it was good fun, just being able to you get the deck lists early, and I'm sat there oh wow, this is great. I can't tell anyone about it, but this is great. Looking at it all, and yeah, you're just waiting to see who you're going to be casting, and got to watch Cams do some scrims and stuff like that, which was cool. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. But I have to say, I was dying for a wee for so long in one of the casts, and I was also really hot because my road is just really noisy, and so I had my window shut. I was dehydrated because I knew I'd have to go to the loo otherwise. So it wasn't perfect, but it was good fun still, and yeah.
You're making out like casting Gwent is such an arduous job. Like we're sitting here, we need to pee, we're dehydrated, it's hot. Like nah, it's what the most arduous part is just the rehearsals, and the only arduous part about the rehearsals is that they always rehearse the first pair first, which is Shinmiri and Flake. So we all have to show up at the same time, but me and Speci literally just wait until they're done for us to rehearse, and if there's any technical issues or what have you, they'll fix that with Flake and Shinmiri. So you don't actually know when your rehearsal's going to start. So you might just be sitting around for like an hour and a half. And you're not really sure about what you should do because you don't want to go do anything in case, suddenly you're needed for casting. Which I kind of knew. So I said to Speci, I'm like, we're going to be waiting around a bit for rehearsal. But I don't think he quite realized that we're going to be waiting around, not in the call, not watching the rehearsal. You're just going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs. But it's part of the job, so it's not a particular.
Can't complain too much, but I was like, I was expecting to be like ready going, and then I was just sort of like doing that. I was ready for like a good hour or so, but like honestly, like the rehearsals part of it might have been the most stressful bit, I think.
It's hilarious because. Oh, go on. You could tell.
Yeah, like we were casting like flipping two of the CDPR devs playing against each other, like Nikora against some other random deck, and I was like, wait, am I supposed to like actually cast this? What's going on? And then like it would show like the bracket from like Masters, and I was like, yeah, as you can see, here's the bracket. Because that's like, it was still really helpful to just like, you've got like a script and like you're looking, but yeah, I was just a bit flustered by the rehearsals part. But honestly, like with
they didn't warn you,
cast,
right?
once you start, it's not too bad, really. Just sort of, that's the good thing about like the fact they've done the open cast and stuff, like just getting that sort of experience. I didn't have to worry about OBS as well this time, which is always nice.
Yeah, because I didn't realize Speci had no idea that we're just going to be broadcasting random nonsense. Like he'll be like, and go through the decks, and then suddenly we'll go to a bracket or like bands, and it's like Life Coach and Tailbot, and you just have to kind of carry on as if this is completely normal. But they didn't tell him, and I forgot that it's weird because I've done it that many times. I forgot that this was in any way like unexpected. So you just kind of get on with it. And then, wasn't there like a hype moment? There was a hype moment during this random CDPR dev game where I think they played like Yenneva's Yennefa Divination or whatever it's called, the one that reveals a card, into Knickers, which didn't give them enough points, but they revealed Knickers, and then Knickers jumped onto the board, and we were both like having a hype cast moment. It was weird.
It was an experience.
It was definitely a lot of fun. I got a question though for I know Trynet, you like the weird decks. Were you disappointed or with the lack of innovation, so to speak, in amongst decks open, or were you kind of just expecting it as the meta, as at a very like settled point?
I sort of knew going into it that it was going to be kind of just the normal decks, just looking at what was being played in the top 16 and top 64 qualifiers. I think what really got me the most though wasn't the lack of like sweet innovative brews, but it was that the only sweet innovative brews in the tournament featured the card that I probably hate the most in all of Gwent, which is Angeline.
I heard about that. Yeah.
What a nonsense card.
Yeah.
Did Angeline?
Yeah.
Angeline didn't win though, right? It's okay.
Angeline was in the finals, wasn't it?
I know she got to the finals, but she didn't win. So, I mean, that's like the silver lining, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, at least we didn't see any like crazy alchemist high rolls deciding any games, because that would have also that's my bane is alchemist. But there were some good ones.
Were there really none?
There were some good alchemists, but I don't know if any.
There was like alchemist onto a fish flapper at one point, wasn't there? But I didn't really do much because he gave him a Nausicaa back. That's the only real ones I remember, to be honest. Maybe there was one on day one in the third series. Like the second one that
I thought there was one on day one.
Yeah, I think it was in the second series that Shaken. It was Nick against Big Cuckoo, but I can't remember what happened. I think Aluha like high rolled something.
Yeah, I remember there were some good alchemists, but I don't recall any like game-winning ones. But yeah, that was Gwent Open number 2. There's still, I believe, 2 more opens, of course, and then off to Gwent Masters number 3.
I feel like remembering what happened in a Gwent Open if you cast it. I don't know if you guys get this when you cast, but right when you're finished casting, I feel like I don't remember the vast majority of what I've just like watched and commentated a lot of the time, because you're so in the moment that you're not really.
You're just trying to find something to say.
Yeah. So then I'll be like, I can remember like hype bits. But like, if you were like, what was the first matchup? I'd be like, give me a second. That was Skellige? And then I think Shamiri asked me about what happened in one of the games from the previous day. He was asking about, he was asking about Angoulême. He was asking if Angoulême hit something. And I was like, oh no, it hit Portal. But that wasn't the game he was talking about. That was like the previous game. So it all just becomes this mush of like small moments that happen, which is just, it's kind of strange when you look back at it. Do you think the best player won?
Yeah.
I think Ilua played well. He had a solid lineup. It's a little bit unfortunate, obviously, the final disconnect. But I mean, to be fair, reverse sweeping Syndicate probably wasn't going to happen. So I think Ilua played well. He got the right deck list, and he ended up winning on the day.
Yeah, I think like he was the only person that brought Koshi, right? And he was rewarded for it. He did really well with it. Like I think the Koshi deck with the She Who Knows Cave Troll setup was like super
brave.
He
got banned in the finals, which was surprising. Like, I think it was like the only non-syndicate deck to actually get banned. I think. Did anything else get banned? I'm not sure.
No, there was a Nilfgaard ban. There was
Nilfgaard
ban once, I think, in game match 3, day 1. So whoever that was, Aluha versus Nick, I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Aluha's like he played Nick, and I think Nick's lineup, like there was 3 Angoulême decks, and Nick's Angoulême deck was by a distance the best built. Like I thought the Chase one was particularly weird, and then the Kayla one was like kind of weird. It was playing like War Council, Menno, Royal Decree, whereas the Nick one was just quite polarized. With it had the Angoulême, but it was still just playing like Dead Man's Tongue, Joachim. Like you don't really need consistency cards, right? In Nilfgaard with all the thinning, so. Nick was a pretty tough opponent. Like he had line pockets, which he's a big fan of. He got through that, and then he beat Wang ID. I think that was the best series of the weekend. Like, we watched it back again yesterday, and like just the way that Aluha was able to win with monsters and then win on red coin with Northern Realms. Like, he just deserved it. Fair play to him, and he was going to 3-0 probably the final as well, right? Obviously, the disconnect was a bit sad, but still.
Yeah, like at least the disconnect happened at a point where it was looking like the series was pretty locked up anyway. The worst is if you get into like a close game 5 situation and that ends in a disconnect.
Yeah. Well, I'd argue this the worst for Akela is that, because every game he wins, he would get money. Yeah. So even though it's likely that Aluha would have taken it overall, it's maybe a missed opportunity to win, a few $100s per match, which is like, I mean, from a financial perspective, I'd be pretty. I mean, the person who's going to be most upset about the whole thing is Akela at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep, that's fair for sure. And then I guess we can move on to the next topic of the latest patch that came out. Not a whole lot. I mean, I like what they've been doing with the fact that they have been buffing so many bronzes, like this bronze that you just don't see any play, which I'm very happy about, because in my opinion, I've been wanting Gwent to like just systematically rework or rebalance a lot of these like forgotten cards. And I do like they were touching up on those, although unfortunately, I don't think it was the super impactful patch in terms of shaking up the meta. The meta still seems, from my perspective at least, very much the same as last season.
Yeah, I mean, I generally agree with that. There are a couple of notable changes, though. Like, I think the Wild Hunt change, even if it doesn't make Wild Hunt like a competitive deck, that gives you something really cool that you can experiment around with, which you couldn't really do before. A lot of like the 5 to 4P swaps are all pretty relevant. Like Archbane Tortoise going to 4P feels really impactful for like soldiers, for example. I don't know. It's not the most exciting patch just reading the patch notes, but even just like the small changes, like Syndicate losing a provision, the ball deck losing like 2 or 3 provisions. It's maybe not going to have a huge impact as far as like pro letter balance as a whole, but it will make things feel a little bit more manageable, like ball deck losing 3 provisions where nothing else did.
And
I mean, speaking of the change, I got a question for each of you. What has been your favorite change of the patch? Is there anything that stood out for you? Like anything that you guys have enjoyed the most or liked the most?
Trynet already mentioned it. It's the Wild Hunt change, mate. Like White Frost. I was just playing White Frost then. I'm honestly so impressed with it. I'm playing like tried some Devotion at first, and then it was all right. But then I've just put Heatwave, Portal, Madurk, of course. The classic Speci approach, and it's just kind of popping off. Honestly, like it feels really good. Like I've lost maybe a couple times with it, like to Cams a couple of times, but apart from that, it's been really smooth. Like it feels like a lot of fun. Like the lead is good. I just love Wild Hunt Frost. It was like my first deck. With Gwent, all I played in Witcher 3 was Northern Realms. And then when I moved to beta, I played Eredin Hounds before then becoming like obsessed with NR again. Particularly in like when Homecoming came out, I only touched NR, but like Wild Hunt Frost, Eridin, that was kind of like the first thing in Gwent that I was just loving. And it's something about Frost. It's just well fun to play. I don't exactly know what it is, but like you can play Vader Makar. I've got Scepter of Storms in there. It's all going off. I love it. So good.
The
I'll
full
take-
Frost package.
I'll take a bit of a different one. I like the change to the clog cards with them no longer being able to clog your tokens.
that
Continue.
I can definitely agree with.
It was miserable trying to play a token deck against clog. Like most of the
Yeah.
matchups shouldn't be that bad on paper, but them clogging you with like 1s and 2s instead of like your bronze cards it's significantly worse.
Yeah. It's like
Yeah.
a quality of life change, right? It's to stop
Yeah.
people who play any sort of token deck feeling just depressed in that matchup. Although Cloggers is in a bit of it's a weird place, isn't it, since the current patch?
Yeah, I mean, I literally just played against Cams, who played, I'm sorry, Cams, really badly, and he still beat me. Like,
Did
I
he
had
play
heat
Cloggers?
Why
wave.
does everyone always say Cams is playing bad? I have never heard anyone say Cams played well when they played against him on ladder. Every time.
It's because
just-
on ladder
well-
he's just zooming games, like he's just spamming games, so he's not probably playing his full potential when he's
He
on
just
ladder.
believed in his deck as well. He just knew it's kind of broken. But there's like the snow. You play like tactical decisions, Snowdrop, Letho, Renew, with Defender, Letho, Colgrim. You just can't answer the Colgrim, the Defender, the Letho, the Renew all at the same time. And even if you've got a deck that's got the answers, you
Yeah, you have
need
to
to
draw
draw
the
them. In
answers.
fact, I played
Yeah.
against Spyro. Yes, sorry, Spyro. I'm so sorry, mate. I sold my soul to the devil. I played Cloggers, and it's just so broken. Like it's so you don't have to think. Like even though there's the change to the clogging cards, like all you really need to do is stop your opponent drawing their answers, right? Like just play a
Yeah,
Cynthia, play like, and even in a hyper thin deck I tried to build, I even ended up putting Cynthia and coated weapons in the deck. And at that point, why are you not just playing Viper Witches and a Colgrim? You know, like I personally, also it's important to mention like Mayamon got 2-7, like 2-5 with Cloggers last season. Paya was saying that like at a certain MMR, it was only Cloggers players. Like it properly just crept up to become really good, and now it's got the Sunset Wanderers card, which is just like you can get played for like 16 points of tactical decision. And Afan got buffed. Okay, the Blight Maker's got nerfed, but you only need to play one of them anyway in tactical decision. Honestly, I've filmed a deck guide for it, and I'm honestly having I'm having a real like moral dilemma if I go
It's
for it.
I was going to say
have
it's
said
immoral
that,
for you
like,
to
there's
post that video.
There'll be a petition in the description to hotfix it. That was me kind of trying to save it, but I just don't know if I'm posting it or not.
No,
I
you got to
have
go
decide.
full in on the villain, right? You got to post it. You got to also link it in the like the Gwent deck, you know, the deck guides thing on Play Gwent where you can list decks. Link it in there. Link your video. Then tell all the people who watch the video to go upvote it. And then basically just become the Cloggers overlord. You've got to embrace that narrative, Specimen. I think that is actually the best approach to it.
The video title has to be Cloggers is the best deck! Exclamation point with just like your face like this.
And a question mark. And a question mark. You
Doesn't
need
sound like
exclamation mark and a
something I would
question
do.
mark.
Yeah, I mean, touching back on that, like it's exactly what it is, right? Cloggers is just a deck that very much punishes your opponent more if they don't have a good starting hand. I mean, they're already pretty unhappy, but then you just rub salt in the wound and you say, okay, well now you're never going to draw your cards, because even if you play your heat, even if you do play heat wave, even if you do play purify, if you don't draw them in your opening hand, I'm going to clog you to death, and you're just never going to draw those answers. It just feels so frustrating when you look at your deck and you're like, I have all these answers, but because I'm being clogged to death, I just can't draw them. So you just feel helpless in a lot of situations, and it's never really a good feeling. And unfortunately, Cloggers seems like an archetype that, although it did get a bit nerfed in the last patch, tiny bit nerfed, it did get a new card which kind of supports it in a way. Sunset Wanderers is a card that Clog really does like, and so it got something taken away, but it also got given like a new, kind of like a tool, so to speak.
Why is it always Nilfgaard that gets the archetypes that are just horrific for your opponent? You know, like, why can't it be, I don't know, Scoia'tael? People are like, Scoia'tael is the worst because this deck is completely unfun to play against. Like, I feel like CDPR are like, oh, let's make a really unfun deck to play against. Ah, why not Nilfgaard? You know, because people don't hate them enough.
People hate traps.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, there's not so much traps on ladder. There's a lot of clog on ladder. So, but yeah, Squirtle does have, I guess, some degenerate archetypes like traps, but not as popular, luckily.
So Sunset Wanderers overall, How many kegs did people open? I guess that's the first question. I have embraced not opening kegs. I'm going to put that one out there. I don't need it to be competitively viable because I'm not competitively viable, so I'm going to wait.
310.
It's still not too bad.
Mine was like 350 or so. I can't remember exactly,
Oh.
but Trynet and I was very nervous because Trynet had a lot more kegs than I did. We were opening it at the same time, like as soon as the patch dropped, and I was talking it
You
big.
got it
but
so
was
much
just,
faster than me.
Yeah, I was slamming them, mate. Like I hate keg openings, honestly. Like, just had to go for it, right?
I almost misclicked.
No way.
Oh.
I was like, I was frames away from clicking a Siri.
That would have been awkward.
I really wanted to get the second one though, just so I could mill it, but it didn't happen. I had not enough kegs. I was so determined to be that guy that just made everyone else feel terrible and just milled the card that everyone wanted.
There is no way any full-time Gwent streamer does not have enough kegs. What is the sorcery?
I mean,
I actually have had a bit of an issue with like meteorite powder because when it like transferred to beta or something, like I never really all my meteorite powder tend to scraps, and then I never actually use that to craft like the premium cards. So I've actually been opening kegs. Now I'm 10th prestige to like get premiums, and I've also got like 400 Way of the Witcher kegs like saved up randomly sat there that I bought and never opened. So yeah, I only had probably like 150 kegs left when I hit it, so I was starting to get very, very anxious that I was going to miss it and miss out on those sweet YouTube videos and stuff. I was honestly going to be fuming.
Luckily for me, it was actually was quite lucky. I think I got it like 120-ish, so I was not having to grind out like 500 plus kegs, which I was worried was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think the average is 400.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I feel like if you streamed...
We all got it under the average. Nice. With the lucky ones.
And I just didn't play. My winning move was not to play. I feel like though if you streamed patch day and actually played Gwent instead of opening kegs, you would have had all the viewers. Because everyone else is out there like, gotta get this new card, you know, so we can showcase it for the viewers. And then if you were that one person who was like, I'm just gonna play Gwent because I like playing Gwent, then it could have been successful.
Love keg openings.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why. The video that I posted on YouTube of the keg opening performed better than like the average gameplay video.
It's like gambling.
God.
People just like gambling is what it is. And this way they don't have to gamble. They can gamble with your money.
Like, I came from FIFA, right? Like, FIFA was the only card game I played. I grew up on packs. Like, FIFA, EA have built, like, Ultimate Team to just monetize the hell out of it, where people drop, like, ridiculous money on packs. But the whole game is just this, like, oh, in the next pack I could get Messi. And then my teams could be amazing. And they just design it in a whole way where you do little challenges, and the reward is packs. You play a draft mode. What's the reward? More packs. You play, like, a competitive season at the weekend. What you get? Packs. So that's what it's just, mate. It's all programmed into people. People love packs. People love pack opening videos, like on FIFA. Just Gwent never has that like tension, right? Yeah. Whereas like for once there was like actually something you were looking for to get in a keg. So that was a nice change. But,
I guess. Yeah, I guess the issue with Gwent is you can craft everything, right? So the pack openings don't have the same allure as, you know, opening Pokemon cards. I love opening Pokemon cards. I'm going to be honest with you. The thrill of having like a full art hollow Charizard is like top tier. Then you Google it and you're like, this is worth £200. I'm never gonna sell this, but it's good to know. Now I feel rich. I've spent all my money on Pokemon cards, but it's fine. Whereas in Gwent, like you just got resources. You just craft anything. Like anything comes out, you just craft it. And now with the patch, you can just buy the premium set, right? You buy the premium set. You don't even have to open kegs. They've removed the need to even open kegs with the way that they allow for pre-orders.
So, speaking of the new card, I got a question. What is everyone's impression of how they did this, like, this thing? I know a lot of people it's been controversial. Some people have said that it's kind of like, it makes it very hard for some players to get this, especially newer players to get this new card. Like, it's not easy to get. As you've tried mentioned, like 400 kegs in average to get it. Whereas it does give kegs kind of a meaning towards players that, you know, have been in the game for a while, because to be honest, I don't like most people that have played the game for a while just don't care about kegs or resource at all.
I think that it's pretty janky that the only players who are going to have access to it for a couple days, really just a couple days, as the quests are now live, are the people that basically have infinite resources. I played against 0 copies of Sunset Wanderer in my first 2 days on ladder. Nobody has it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess on the other side, it's everyone's gonna have access to it soon, so it's only like a few days where they can't get it. But it is still for some people quite frustrating that they have to wait, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of. I don't think it's something they were ever planning on doing more than once, because they kind of knew the reaction to it would mainly be maybe negative. But at the same time, Gwent resources have always kind of been all over the place, right? Like they'll be able to monetize the game probably a lot better if people are opening kegs. Like it's just like you look at FIFA, like FIFA just makes so much money from people opening packs on a regular basis. And like I really love that they're adding new cards in, and this was like a different take. Like you can only get it in kegs. Maybe they just needed to make it easier to find. I don't think they'll do it again, but I would love to see them do something where like if you get a card in a keg, it's got like a little star like on the description of the card or something that shows you got it in a keg. Like on FIFA it says first owner, and like even though that doesn't do anything, it's just and reason to open kegs so that like people will want to be like, oh look at this cool like first owner premium Eridan I've got, like let's go, that's really cool.
The millionth premium Eridan or something like that. I think you're all fools. This is actually a ploy by CDPR to get people to spend their resources before they make a change. I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on first. This is a ploy to get people to spend resources before they make some change that allows you to use ore for something other than kegs. And you've all sunk like 4 billion ore into kegs, and now they're going to be like, haha, you can use your ore for...
jokes on them. I have 4 billion more.
Yeah, I still have more ore than like the 0.001%.
Yeah, but think of those poor people who like invested all their ore into kegs to get Sunset Wanderer and then got him, and then they'll be like, and now something completely different. I mean, that I don't actually think that's going to happen.
I don't think they'll do that.
I think it was fun, right? I think it was fun to do something like this. So
it was fun for some people, but I don't know. Like again, if you're a new player, I can imagine if you don't have infinite resources, it might not have been so fun. But
yeah, but if you're a new player, you're not playing pro ladder anyway. Like it does affect you. This is a nonsense argument. The only people it affects are people in pro ladder, and most people in pro ladder play more Gwent than do anything else with any more of their time. If TLG pro players can be an example for this, like this is my basis of how much Gwent pro players play. They have clearly enough resources to like buy 4 billion kegs twice if Spyro is anything to go by. So it doesn't affect them that much. Like who actually wanted Sunset Wanderer and didn't get it? Raise your hand.
I mean, there were. I saw people in my chats that were.
Yeah, there were definitely people.
Red Dream gave up. Red Dream opened like hundreds of them and just gave up. He just couldn't be bothered anymore because my hand was hurting.
It's a slog.
I was zacking the kegs, and the only thing keeping me going was that sweet YouTube video for that like keg opening video, because I thought it would do. Honestly, mine like didn't even do that well. I feel like I should have put some highlights in. Somebody in my comments said, this is the content nobody asked for. It's like worse than a Kinder egg.
Really?
I was like, yeah, it's probably true.
You only gave them like the payoff, right? You needed the hype. You needed the build up. You need like, what's it gonna? Oh, there's a legendary, guys. What's it gonna be? Oh my god, it's premium Triss. Oh, it's not this, but it's premium Triss. So this is my consulate. You gotta bait them a little bit. You're too generous. That's your issue.
Jaggerous is in a Pokemon Master talking now.
Pretty much. I've opened 3 Volcarions in 3 packs. That's like the rare card from Hidden Fates, and it was Volcarion, which is not a good pull, by the way. And I got them back to back, and I actually think someone might have tampered with that pack of Pokemon. Like it was in a box of Pokemon cards, so there was like 4 packs in the box, and I'm pretty sure someone tampered with that box because there's no way you get that many Volcanions or whatever he's called in 1 pack. I'm still mad about this.
Right, so I got another question. Speak about this card, Sunset Wanderer. What is everyone's impression of this card? How does everyone feel like this card performs?
I mean, if you're playing a devotion deck, I think you're doing it wrong, mate. Like, honestly, like, what's the point? Can't be worth it at this point. This card is just ridiculous.
I mean,
I don't know if I'd go that far, but the card is very strong.
That is a stretch, but geez, it is a joke how good it is, right? Especially like in the flipping Cloggers deck. Like, oh my god. It's like, you can play it for like 17 points. It's thinning your deck, which you like is obviously points for Colgrim. The fact that it just starts in your hand, like I love the idea, like the fact it's like Journey to the Edge of the World, which is like one of the chapters in the Witcher book, one of the short stories. It was also in the Netflix series in the first season, so they're sort of tying that in, and it like travels from the left to the right. Really cool. Love it. I love that you can see it move in your opponent's hand. But it's just too good in it. Like it could have like play for half the amount of points, and it would still be probably quite good. I think like especially when the draw synergy comes in, like in Discard SK, but particularly at the moment, Tactical Decision is going to be the bigger offender just because of how good like the Afan Mage Assassin package is. Like it's just
Yeah,
it's
I've
kind of
been
ridiculous.
closely like monitoring the average value of this card, and it's most of the time I'd say I'd say the average. Okay, sometimes it comes out in round 1 and whatnot, and it's playing for like 12-ish points if it comes out in round 1. But I'd say the average of this card is easily playing for like 15 plus points quite often. Actually, sometimes it's playing for much more than that. I'm just saying like it's the average. Yeah, it also thins your deck, puts temper pressure on your opponent, and it's a really good card. The only downside is it is a little bit expensive. Like I have tried to play it in some decks in the compromise, like lose. I've tried cutting Heatwave in some decks for this card, which sometimes have caused me a lot of issues not having that extra like control card that I might need. But the card is definitely on average performing very, very well. Just on pure points wise.
It's
Like
also just like kind of a fun card to play with. There's a lot of
Yeah.
different like little aspirational things you can do with like Tactical Decision or the discard package or like Pincer Maneuver to maneuver the
Yeah.
cards in your hand. But you
history.
can also just sort of play it raw and the sub game around like when should I pass with this card in my hand? What position do I want this
Yeah.
at going into round 2 or round 3? Should I commit this into round 1? Should I save it so that it can be bigger later? There's a lot of cool decision making with the card that I think is
I
kind
have
of
to
fun.
I have to say, like the fact as well that they're still doing this whole like one card that's a neutral, like between expansions, mate. Such a fan. Like Owls are Madoc, two of my favorite cards of all time, and obviously all you have to do now, you log on WitcherCon, by the way, play 100 cards, and you get this card premium for free. So like the amount of people that are gonna be hopefully watching this WitcherCon that are Witcher Netflix fans tomorrow, they'll be like, oh Gwent, what? And then this whole like new event that's aimed at these new people where you get like the coins are actually symbols from the Netflix Witcher logo. Like, seems really like a really good. We've always said Gwent doesn't market itself well enough, but I wasn't a card game player. I was a Witcher universe fan, right? That's how I came into Gwent. So there's loads of other people that I'm sure would take an interest in Gwent if they knew it was out there. And this seems like the perfect sort of approach. Give everyone a really OP card. You can put it in every deck. It's gonna get
I
nerfed
think-
though. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Is that really
I
that
guess
so bad? Like it's a cool card to have in the game for a month.
I agree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree as well. And I think the art is just lovely. It's just a really nice card. You know, if you're going to give people and it does tie back into the Netflix show. And I think this is such a clever marketing ploy from both Netflix and from CD Projekt Red. Although they do different things with the Witcher IP, for them to work together like this and realizing like we have a shared audience and we can all benefit from something like WitcherCon putting our kind of heads together. It's just sensible. And I enjoy the tie-ins. I enjoy that. I think you get like channel emotes tomorrow during WitcherCon, and they've made one of the emotes. I think it's just for the channel, but one of them is you don't have the sword in the Witcher Netflix show. If you haven't seen it, it looks like a face, like the circle buckle on the sword. It looks like a face, and they've made one of the emotes that circle buckle because it's like a face, and it's just those little things I think is a really smart move by the companies, yeah, to get more people watching the Netflix show, get more people playing Witcher 1, 2, 3, and get more people playing Gwent. So I feel like it's a win for everyone.
Gwent is right in the mix. Like it starts off with like a panel with the actors, the main actors, like the actor for Ciri and Yennefer, the lead show writer, and then the next thing on the agenda is Welcome to Gwent, the Witcher card game, and I think that's really absolutely fantastic for the game. Like new players coming in, and then afterwards you've got like another thing with like it's like a spotlight on the Ciri and Yennefer actors. So like all the Netflix fans will be watching it. You've got Henry Cavill, Superman, and Gwent on the same show. Like that's kind of sick, honestly. Like it's really cool to see, and I think like even though they don't spend that much, and yeah, toss a coin to the Witcher is like actually in Gwent now as well. Like when you open the WitcherCon thing, toss a coin to your Witcher, like plays like for like
Oh, really?
10
Huh.
seconds or so. So
I didn't
yeah,
know
I think
that.
I'm a fan of the Netflix show. Like I read the books as well, try and read the books. So I think it's just super cool, and I'm really really excited to see like what else they sort of announce or like how what just who's going to be on the Gwent show tomorrow. Is there going to be like a surprise appearance from Shin Miri? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm just excited, man. I'm really excited. I think just like the whole new cards every month. Yeah, sick. I'm enjoying it. Even though I would have liked more nerfs to Jackpot and stuff. Like for the moment, it's
Right.
good fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised how Syndicate dodged so much. Like they got such a small slap on the wrist, which is kind of crazy because Syndicate is quite powerful right now.
Hell
I'll be
yeah.
interested to see the leader win rates at the end of the season. Maybe it was just like underperforming at lower ranks, like Syndicate tends to do, and that's how it escapes the hammer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I mean,
Syndicate at low ranks is weird
but
because
surely-
people just don't understand how to pilot it.
Like even at the highest ranks, the Syndicate's win rate wasn't that much higher than everyone else if you look at the data. It was like 1% above Nilfgaard and like 5% above NR, and it varied from like day to day.
yeah,
It wasn't
that's the thing
that
is-
much of a balance issue. Yeah.
That's because like on Pro Ladder, a lot of the people spamming it at the lower levels are kind of deflating that win rate. But if you look at
that's just looking at the top 20 and top 100.
oh top okay interesting okay that's interesting then because I from my perspective I was under the impression that like a top like 100 level top 64 level Syndicate was outperforming everything by quite a big amount.
But surely at that
just
level
didn't
they're
understand.
playing high MMR matches anyway.
August does
Right, like-
well into it as
Like
well.
that
right?
just says that skill can kind of even the playing field a little bit. I guess. I was gonna say.
Yeah, as Gravesh is saying in chat, at low levels people can't play it well. High levels the meta revolves around countering it. So like it's not ideal that it's as good as it is, but it's like sort of able to be kept in check a little bit.
Yeah, but definitely something that's. I mean, we'll see when next month we'll have a new mini. I'm still hesitant to call it like a new expansion because it's a part of an expansion. But like next month we'll have the next piece of the puzzle, I guess, and we'll have to see how that shakes up the meta. I'm looking forward to. I wonder, do you guys think they're gonna like carry on with what they already started, or do you think they're gonna now? Maybe they'll monsters will get vampire cards. Do you think it will still be relic cards, or what do you guys think how it's going to work? Do you think they're just going to carry on with what they've already started, or they might do some other stuff?
Yeah, I think so. There's a reason why it's like 3 parts to an expansion and not 3 different expansions, right? I would imagine that they're trying to make some cohesive thing for each of the factions.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and it looked like a Elven Seer type card, right, for the Squirtle, which like plays in with it. Like obviously they got Francesca, but they don't have like an actual spell card that's good yet. So I would imagine like there's almost guaranteed in the next 6 cards to be like a high-end Squirtle spell card that you can replay with Fran, or special card even. Doesn't have to be, but spell makes sense, right? Like Alza, Fran. You just think there's got to be a deck there, but you realize it's not. Apart from a Neuromancy, there's nothing you really want to play twice. So I would imagine so. Like Northern Realms of Patience as well. Like I think it's a really cool archetype. I've even been trying to play it like this week with Istrid, and like you're kind of reaching because you're playing like rune words and megascopes, and there's something there, but maybe it's not as good as Siege. So I think just like makes sense to just give a little bit more. And yeah, obviously have to see what happens, but like it's exciting as someone that plays the game every day. I'm sure you guys can agree. I'm playing the game every day to have like new cards every 2 months, and even this month we've even got a new card. Even in between. I imagine that happened every time. New set every 2 months. Surprise, new month you get like a little card to play around that's a neutral, like Alza Medic. I think it's a really good
yeah,
approach.
I'm kind of hoping. I'm looking forward to Druids getting some, because they obviously introduced this like the new Druid cards. Unfortunately, Druids doesn't seem to be quite there yet. I'm hoping that next month we get some real Druids back in the meta, because I miss me some wholesome Druid decks.
Yeah.
I like Druid as well, and I liked Rain. When all the Rain stuff came out at the end of last month with the new Druid who like turns Rain into Storm, and there's the ginger-haired like Alchemy Resurrection Druid and stuff. Like Druids are actually, they need a little bit more tweaking, and this is something I'm hoping with this new patch cycle that it allows CDPR to do, is look at what they've put out so far, look at what they've got coming, and tweak what they've got coming to more accurately meet their aims of the patch. If you look at new cards that they put in for Scala, for example, the Druid ones, they're not quite there. So they could potentially use this subsequent patch to add some cards there. Whereas if you look at things like Sabbath, the Sabbath cards are doing all right. Like Sabbath, and Relics, you could give it a couple more tools, but it's in a much better position than, say, like the Rain cards or the Squirtle cards, for example. So I'm hoping that this like iterative expansion cycle allows them to adjust, so we don't get expansions with like pointless cards, because in the past we get an expansion, there'd be like 5, 6 whatever dead cards that just don't do anything. They're not meta cards, and this maybe allows everything to be impactful because they can adjust as they go.
Yep, I agree. Definitely more focused on what they're doing when it's smaller amounts, but more frequent, I guess. And then I guess last topic we can discuss for the day is the Invitational, which is starting this weekend, I believe.
It is. Were you invited?
Well, yes, but as a caster.
Hopefully this is where like someone in this podcast wasn't invited, and this is just salt in the wounds. You know, I was invited as a caster, and they told me it was this date like months and months ago. Then didn't think to send a reminder, and I booked a trip. So I'm not going to be casting this weekend, but I'll cast like the subsequent tournament bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, I believe this weekend we got the Swiss stages, I believe. It's been broken up into 2 weekends, I believe, because last weekend, as anyone remembers from last year, it was a lot to cram into the event. Like the event was just so much game and so much happening that I believe Jaggerous and I ended up casting until like I think it was like 4 a.m. honestly, my time.
Oh, it was like a 12-hour cast. I was I was like delirious. I was like, please just let this event end. And I think there was a tie or something. And
yeah,
I was
there
like,
was a tie. Yeah,
oh,
there was indeed a tie in the finals of it.
I was like, I do not get paid enough for this because I'm doing this for free.
But
What's
yeah,
your lineup, Speci? Tell the people.
I'm not playing actually. I was my plan was like back in like when this was a long time ago. It was like I was gonna play, and then if I did or when I didn't make it through to the top 16, I was gonna maybe be able to cast that. But honestly, like, I just really enjoy the casting side of things as much as I like building decks and stuff. Like if I want to do that, I can do it in qualifiers, right? So. I wanted to cast, but unfortunately I kind of pulled out because there's something else happening on Sunday. It's a national holiday in my country. Working is against the law on Sunday because all I'm going to do is drink beer and watch England win the Euros. So I'm going to be cast on Saturday, but on Sunday I'm not going to look at a single game of Gwent. I think is my new plan. I'm going to watch England smack Italy 4-0. You heard it here first.
I'm fairly sure we've been announcing in our like promos that we're going to be done before the football. So you have no excuse, Specimen. Like zero excuse. You could get blackout drunk and compete at the same time.
Get to like one of the fan parks on the big screen, right? We've not been in the final since 1966. Like it's a big occasion.
You know,
it's obviously
we
like,
really haven't heard enough about this.
What we've done.
You know that cartoon. I guess you guys maybe don't experience this because you're not British, but you know that cartoon, and there's like a crow that just starts screaming over the other birds. This is what England football fans are like. You know, in case you hadn't heard, you know, they haven't been in the finals for ages, but it is apparently coming home. Wherever the fuck that is. Apologize. Sorry, Max, you're gonna have to
bad
mute me there.
words.
Honestly, football, English fans, like, actually, I'm not gonna say that.
No, it's all right. It's all right though, Jack.
I'm gonna make someone upset.
You've got your 0-0 result. Scotland 0-0 with England.
And we're the only ones who drew to you
celebrating
guys.
it like you've won the tournament.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, we're
right.
the only ones who drew to you guys, so basically we're God's gift to football.
I had to sneak something in. Like you couldn't invite me on and expect I wouldn't mention it. I'm on the bus.
I feel so bad for
we
Spyro
can
and
move on.
Trynet. Like this is what British football is like. Because I'm Scottish. Speci's English, and so we get exposed to all of like the football media. Like in Scotland, Sterling is a diving expletive. And they did not deserve the penalty against Denmark. But, you know, if you ask Speci, how was Sterling's penalty against Denmark?
It was never a penalty. The ref was awful the whole game. It was a terrible performance. Like we should have had a penalty in the 90 minutes, but for some reason they've got a video assistant referee where there's a screen on the side. The ref can go and watch it and verify his decision. But basically, they know that everyone hates VAR, the video assistant referee, so they've decided to not use it for the important moments. It's a joke. Like we should have had a penalty in 90 minutes, and it wasn't given. It was given as a foul the other way, which is pathetic. And then we clear dive, and they're like, nah, there was contact. He touched him, mate. It's a penalty. And then the England fans in the crowd have got laser pointers at the goalkeeper for Denmark. Which is
really
like, what?
Oh,
like
you guys
what,
are scum.
How? Why do you think
Right.
everyone hates our country, mate? Like, there's a reason. You're
How's that even
displaying
allowed?
exactly why everyone hates us.
Colonialism?
Holy crap. I don't know.
I hate us, but I love our team. I love our players. Like they're a good bunch of lads. They're all sort of similar ages to me. Like some of them I've seen like used to make like FIFA YouTube videos of like the UK YouTubers. Like Luke Shaw's been around for so long. So I'm buzzing, man. And it's a shame people ruin it. And obviously, I know people don't like us winning, but it does make it quite sweet whenever I go into like I open my Twitch chat or I go on Discord and people are slagging England off. It's coming home, the England squad, and now we're in the finals, and it's fun. It's all good fun, isn't it?
So thanks for coming to Zwei, the football podcast. Hooray! We completely went off on one there. Invitational though, so there's a load of players invited from a bunch of different teams, different pro Pro Ladders, there was a qualifier for people who weren't invited to like qualify to gain an invite. You know, basically you get to join the Cool Kids Club. It's a big event that TLG put on once a year to try and see who is the ultimate pro player in Gwent. Who's going to win? Place your bets.
And that is the question. That is the question. I mean, it's going to have a lot of familiar faces for everyone. You're going to see, you know, some favorite streamers, casters, players. Everyone's going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Last year, it was quite a big event. Lots of people watching it, I believe. And looking forward to seeing this year. It's going to be bigger and better than last year. And I mean, again, we're going to be splitting up for 2 weekends because, you know, just so much. I think it's going to be 128 players, something crazy like that, all participating in the event. And obviously, we're going to go through the Swiss stages and the knockout stages and whatnot. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
But who's going to win?
That I don't know.
You got to bet.
Okay. The one is going to win. It's going to be the one that hopefully plays the best.
No, pick a name. Pick a name. Any name.
I've got a name.
I don't know. I don't even know who's playing.
I've got a name.
There's
I'm not sure if
128
he's
people playing.
I'm also not sure if he's playing, but I'm going to go for Ivy Cotto.
Oh, God.
The legend. Just an iconic gamer that, like, you just queue into him and you just go, what was that? And you just move on and go.
Is Mayamon playing? I want to see the sick piles win.
I think Mayamon probably will be
Okay, so
playing.
we've got a bet for Mayamon. Got a bet for Cotto. Pireball's not playing before anyone picks for him. I really want to go Dark Kevin. I'm going to go Dark Kevin. I'm Team Kevin. I hope he's playing.
Dark Kevin doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I know what
It doesn't. Well, Spyby. TLG Spyby.
There
Oh, yeah, I forgot we have to commit to their new
underscore.
names, right? TLG_Spyby.
I think it's actually Cybers with a Z as well.
Yeah, he is Cybers again, isn't he? Ugh. You know what? I don't want him to win anymore. This has been too painful for me to predict. Let's go. God, who even plays Gwent? No, I'll go for Spyby. No. I feel like Spyby's like the bridesmaid, but never the bride in competitive Gwent. I genuinely think he's a really solid player. He does well on ladder consistently, and he's just such a nice person as well. Like, genuinely nice person. So I kind of feel for him in that he's in that situation where you're getting so close,
until he's having a
out.
bad day, and then the scary German words come out. God, those are the best streams.
Says Spyro, whose
who's
stream every day is a bad day.
No. I'm just saying. After watching Spyby and TLG TV, sometimes it's quite funny. But yeah, I don't even know who's all playing. There's so many people playing that I don't even know the list. So asking me who I think is going to win.
No, pick someone.
Who? I don't know who's playing.
Do you not know the names of any pro players that might be playing?
But I don't know. I might pick a name and I might not be playing. I don't know. I'm going to say like Kulamon.
Then you're wrong.
In before Kulamon's not playing. Okay,
yeah.
Kulamon, there we go.
Perfect.
Good job. Okay. There we go. So these are the predictions, you guys. Place your bets now.
Is he even playing? I don't know.
He's probably playing. Does he even play Gwent anymore? Like, he won World Masters and is a very rich man. Like, at that point, I'm like, you hang up your Gwent hat. If there was a Gwent hat. Actually, I think I have a CDPR hat in my cupboard. That would be the Gwent hat that you would physically and metaphorically hang up. And then you just ride off into the sunset.
Olomon's got his best of 9 series against Pireball to look forward to. And I think it's next weekend. I think a best of 9. Ban, like, you bring every faction, ban one faction. And it's closed deck list as well. So like, I'm just gonna ask Pyre to get me on board, and I'm just gonna put Cohen in like the Northern Realms deck, just like ultimate surprise value, mate. Igni, Uridan, everything.
Oh boy.
Is it really
I don't think he's gonna accept my invitation to let me help him.
Jeez, a best of 9 though.
Yep.
I mean, Cole's just gonna play net.
That makes me feel a little bit nauseous.
Cole just played like meta decks, right? So Pyre could just bring some spicy stuff. Yeah, closed deck list is an experience. I think
Eternal Glory!
Yeah, Pride, right?
Eternal Glory. Never underestimate Eternal Glory.
But then, like, on the other hand, if you bring the spice, do you not win the hearts of the fans and thus win
not
overall
if your
even
spice
if you lose?
Completely just implodes and you just get like 5-0'd.
Yeah, but like, it's a show match, so does it matter? You know, I feel like if it's a show match, you should embrace chaos.
No, because if the spice does poorly, everyone makes fun of you, and you didn't win. The spice is only good if it wins.
Oh.
Then it's really good. If the spice wins, then you're like a hero.
You get bonus points for Spice.
Oh, speaking of pricing, though, I believe there is pricing for the TLG Invitational. I'm assuming that's what Max is talking about in the chat. It says £1,000 to £600 for first place. And I would assume that if it's not the show match, because that's got 2 people, so there's only first place and second place in that situation. Is Freddy Babes playing in the Invitational?
I think he's pulled
playing?
out. Yeah, I don't think he's been enjoying it too much this patch. He was playing quite a lot last patch, but yeah, he hosted me quite early on patch day. He sent a raid my way after maybe like an hour of his stream. I think when he found out that he had to open kegs to get the new card, he wasn't impressed. And I think he played Scoia'tael. He was playing. I watched the VOD back because I was like, I wanted to see if there was like a big rage quit or what happened. It wasn't, but he was playing Scoia'tael, and I think he came to the conclusion that Scoia'tael has actually been nerfed because Waylay is now 4 provisions. So like the Sorceress can hit Waylay, so it's not guaranteed to hit Tempering, Making a Bomb, Caress. So Scoia got nerfed. I think Freddy then realized he couldn't just craft the new card, and I think he's not played since, or I don't think he's streamed since. So I don't think he's playing this weekend.
I mean, that's fair enough. I feel like that is a valid reason. Just tilted off the edge of the planet until, some point later down the line. Is there any other news we have to cover for the next kind of month, past month? Anything else you guys want to talk about? Or are we happy?
I mean, it's just this WitcherCon thing tomorrow. Like, and you guys gonna watch it's like tomorrow evening. There's like the actual like event. Are you guys planning on watching it? I guess maybe you just catch up with like do the Trynet in the morning, whether it's like sped up and see what they're saying, or are you interested at all, guys? Are you gonna watch it live? Like they're like encouraging people to restream it, so I'm gonna do like a watch party tomorrow on my channel. Maybe like Tia and Lionheart were mentioning about doing it as well. So like just maybe chill in a call with some Gwent people and. Yeah, like CDPR said they might try and promote some channels as well, because you can like opt in to do it, the watch party with it, and so I'm really excited about that, honestly. And like imagine if like suddenly there's this huge new influx of players, and it could be really cool. Honestly, I'm really excited for it. I have to say it's the most excited I've been for an event, and to see Gwent getting some marketing, like it's brilliant. And obviously like it's not the marketing you might think with adverts, but this is like the best kind, right? Because it's like Witcher fans are going to be watching it, like the diehard people that love the Netflix series, the universe. What's Gwent? I've not played a card game. I got no interest, and then suddenly like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Because I was the same, right? I didn't think I would enjoy card games particularly, but here I am.
Here you are. There you go. So Speci's hype for WitcherCon. Do we have any predictions for WitcherCon? Now they've said CDPR have said they're not announcing a new Witcher game, and they've also suggested it's more geared towards new players. Is that my understanding of the Gwent part? I feel like I saw that on Twitter somewhere.
Yeah, I think so. I'd be surprised if there isn't some leaks as well, right, for the upcoming expansion, like some big card maybe. Like we saw Istrid, right, from Northern Realms in the most recent set. Istrid is a character in The Witcher. I think maybe like a Renfrey. Maybe it's time for Renfrey, right? It seems like the perfect time. Someone's just mentioned it, Yash. Like a Renfrey card. She was in the first episode of the Witcher series. Something like that. I feel like it's time, right? Imagine if it's like the actual actor of Renfrey and she's like in a premium card. I don't know. Something like that could just get people hyped.
Okay, that's Speci's prediction. Does anyone else have any other predictions?
I mean, I'm predicting there'll probably be a Netflix trailer for the season 2. That's probably bound to be the case. Other than that,
why can you not commit to anything like out there? You're like, there'll probably be a Witcher trailer. No freaking And then earlier, I couldn't possibly pick anyone to win.
Probably going to be a Witcher dinosaur that's going to invade Tokyo. I don't know.
Specimen is not Specimen. Spyro, is your favorite flavor vanilla?
Favorite flavor in what sense? Ice cream flavor?
Ice cream. Let's go ice. Yeah. See, you don't need to qualify this. Is your ice cream? Is your favorite flavor vanilla?
I like strawberry.
Okay,
which is pretty vanilla anyway.
Trynet, do you have any predictions?
I'm down for the Witcher Godzilla crossover. That sounds pretty hype.
Right, I'm gonna make a bold prediction. This is my bold prediction. I think they said they're not announcing a new Witcher game, so it could be a remaster potentially, or Witcher 3 DLC number 3.
It's so late for DLC though.
It doesn't matter. People would buy. People would buy it. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be new. Witcher 3 is on every console imaginable. Witcher 3 is like Skyrim at this point. Like it's never going to go anywhere. So at this stage, they may as well just make Witcher 3, I don't know, fish and chips, or is this like Heart of Stone, Blood and Wine, fish, that sort of name. And I would buy it. You would buy it. Let's be real.
I mean,
and then they don't have to reprogram the whole game.
I just don't know if it would be like financially viable. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, I guess.
I wonder if we might see Golden Necker. Maybe it's the time, right? Like they've got this like weird single player type thing going on. Like kind of just forgetting about it, but they obviously when did they first announce this Golden Necker thing? Maybe during Masters last year, December. And then they've kind of touched on it. They showed like I can't even remember, but it's some sort of like single player thing within Gwent. Like maybe they could announce that part of it as well, right? Like, seems like a good time with lots of eyes on it.
It's like the end of the year, or they say they're going to try aim for the end of this year. So we're still a ways off, but you know, I guess we might get. Who knows? Maybe we'll get information. But
I feel bad because the chat's all hyped for now this imaginary Witcher 3 DLC that I was like bold prediction. I mean, I feel like realistically it might be a remaster if they do announce anything game wise, but we'll see. DLC though, it's gonna be DLC. I believe you guys. You just gotta believe. If it doesn't get announced, then chat didn't believe hard enough.
So, I'm not sure if anyone has any closing thoughts, but I think that's a good place to wrap it up for the day. Any closing thoughts from you guys?
Thank you to CDPR for buffing boat builders. Great job.
On that note, thanks for buffing Artfane Tortoise too.
Thanks to CDPR for Witcher 3 DLC number 3. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's my closing opinion. Spyro, you got anything to add? No, you don't, because you're Spyro. Spyro has.
Yes, that's true. Exactly.
Spyro commits to no opinion.
I'm just here for the smile wave. I'm just getting ready for the smile wave. My favorite part.
Okay, well, if we have nothing further, then we just want to say thank you to everyone for listening or watching. Not yet, Speci. Don't jump the gun with a smile and wave. We thank everyone for listening and watching. We remind them they can follow us on all places where you find podcasts. Try to ISO that. You find them where you find podcasts, wherever that may be. Like I think like Spotify, Apple Music, and like podcast places. I don't know where they are. I'm gonna be honest with you. Beyond that, have a lovely day. Thank you so much for watching. And now we smile and wave, boys. Just smile and wave.